السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام.
بنتريا شوي بس اكتمل العدد وبنبدأ إن شاء الله. بنبدأ 11 و5 دقايق
إن شاء الله. السلام عليكم. We're waiting for the rest of the attendees to join. We'll start inshallah by 11:05.
نغم اشتقنا لك، كيفك ياسمينة؟ اشتقنا لك.
أهلا، إحنا أكثر.
أهلا وسهلا. أنا والله اشتقت لكم كلكم كتير كتير كتير.
نورت الشاشة.
تسلمي لي حبيبتي.
كيفك نغم؟
تمام الحمد لله، أنت
بعدك
كيفك؟
بالشغل؟ الحمد لله.
إيه؟
بعدك بالشغل؟
الحمد لله تمام.
يلا الحمد لله. Keep it up.
Thank you. لا أنا شايفة لسه الحضور ضعيف.
السلام عليكم جميعا ومرحبا فيكم في ملتقانا الثاني لداعمي الرضاعة الطبيعية.
عليكم السلام، أهلا
مرحبا
مهندسة.
بالجميع.
لا
هلا.
مهندسة، بس صوتك شوي واطي أو بعيد.
الحين
الحين تمام.
بعد
Hi
جملة زيادة
everybody.
مهندسة عشان
Hi
أركز لأن
everybody
حاسة
and welcome to our Breastfeeding Support Forum. شو أخباركم، مستعدين؟
تمام الحمد لله.
إن شاء الله.
إن شاء الله نطلع بتوصيات ونتائج من الملتقى.
إن شاء الله.
أعتقد نبتدي أخت لأن عندنا اجتماع بعدين.
إن شاء الله. أوكي. أوكي. أمل نبدأ.
إيه بنبدأ إن شاء الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا بكم جميعا في ملتقى داعمي الرضاعة الطبيعية لعام 2021. معكم أمل فايل مرشدة رضاعة طبيعية. سنبدأ إن شاء الله مع الأخت سنبدأ بنبذة تعريفية عن الجمعية، وإن شاء الله سنبدأ بالتعريف عن الملتقى داعمي الرضاعة الطبيعية.
إن شاء الله. طبعا سأكون معكم أيضا نغم عبدو، استشارية الرضاعة الطبيعية، أتكلم باللغة الإنجليزية. I will be نغم عبدو, IBCLC lactation consultant to translate in English for any English speakers about the content of the presentation.
شكرا أختي نغم. جمعية سنبدأ بالنبذة. جمعية أصدقاء الرضاعة الطبيعية هي جمعية ذات نفع عام مشهرة من قبل وزارة تنمية المجتمع بموجب قرار الوزاري رقم 56 لسنة 2021. تأسست جمعية أصدقاء الرضاعة الطبيعية في عام 2004 بموجب مرسوم من صاحب السمو الشيخ الدكتور سلطان بن محمد القاسمي، وتحظى برئاسة شرفية من سمو الشيخة جواهر بنت محمد القاسمي رئيسة المجلس الأعلى لشؤون الأسرة في الشارقة. كما تحظى الجمعية برئاسة فخرية من سعادة الشيخ بدور بن سلطان القاسمي، علما بأنها تأسست عام 1999 من قبل مجموعة من مؤيدي الرضاعة الطبيعية، وذلك بالتعاون مع مركز الأمومة والطفولة في إمارة الشارقة سابقا، عندما ساهمت الجمعية بتأسيس أول عيادة للرضاعة الطبيعية بدولة الإمارات في عام 2001.
Okay, we're going to talk about who is the Breastfeeding Friends Society. It's a public benefit association registered by the Ministry of Community Development under the Ministerial Resolution number 56 of 2021. Breastfeeding Friends Society BFF was established in 2004 by a decree of His Highness Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Mohammed Al Qasimi and enjoys the honorary presidency of Her Highness Sheikh Jawahar bin Mohammed Al Qasimi, President of the Supreme Council for Family Affairs in Sharjah. BFF is chaired by Her Excellency Sheikh Abdur bin Sultan Al Qasimi. BFF was founded in 1999 by a group of breastfeeding supporters in cooperation with Maternity and Childhood Center in the Emirate of Sharjah. When the association was contributed to the establishment of first breastfeeding clinic in 2001 in the UAE.
ملتقى داعمي الرضاعة الطبيعية هي مجموعة مساندة للرضاعة الطبيعية من مختلف إمارات الدولة منذ عام 2017. تم إنشائها من قبل جمعية أصدقاء الرضاعة الطبيعية في الشارقة، ويشاركها مؤسسات داعمة أو مجموعات مهتمة وداعمة للرضاعة الطبيعية بهدف تبادل الخبرات بين الجهات المعنية في مختلف إمارات الدولة، وتبادل الأفكار لدعم الرضاعة الطبيعية وتطوير الأنشطة والخدمات والفعاليات من خلال أفكار مشتركة وقناة موحدة من أجل مساعدة أكبر عدد من الأمهات في تخطي صعوبات الرضاعة الطبيعية ونشر الوعي في المجتمع من قبل مسؤولات ومتطوعات واستشاريات ومرشدات رضاعة طبيعية ذوات خبرة، علما بأن تم عمل ملتقى سابق بعنوان الخطوات العشر لمستشفى صديق للطفل، وحضر عدد 78 من داعمي للرضاعة الطبيعية.
Okay, now what is the Breastfeeding Supporters Forum? The Breastfeeding Supporters Forum is a breastfeeding support group of members formed from different emirates in the UAE. It was established in Sharjah in 2017 by the BFF. It is made up of institutions or groups interested in supportive of breastfeeding and aims to present and exchange experiences between relevant entities in the various emirates of the country to support breastfeeding. It also aids in the development of activities, services, and events through common ideas and unified channel in order to help a large number of mothers to overcome the difficulties of breastfeeding and to spread awareness in the community by officials, volunteers, lactation consultants, and experienced breastfeeding counselors.
والآن أترككم مع استشارية الرضاعة الطبيعية لتكمل استعراض أهم الإنجازات التي قامت بها الجمعية في عام 2020 و 2021. تفضلي أختي نغم.
Okay, now we're going to continue by speaking in English. If anyone has any questions in Arabic, because I think most of us can communicate in both English and Arabic, but to respect that there are some English native speakers, we're going to talk only in English for now. Okay, the most important achievements of the association during the regulation of 2020, of course, during the pandemic, there was a lot of activities to support the mothers during the pandemic. We're going to talk about the most important of those activities that done by the BFF. First, the Breastfeeding Counselor Program, which is an annual program done in both Arabic and English language. It aims to qualify mothers and interested candidates to obtain a breastfeeding counselor certificate with 40 hours theoretical hours and 15 practical hours. The breastfeeding counselors will be able to help mothers by volunteering with the BFF. There were 14 participants in the year 2020 and 18 participants in the year 2021. From different backgrounds, and they were able to obtain the practical hours training in different clinics and hospitals in the Emirate of Sharjah. BFF released a video of the breastfeeding counselor program in the year 2020. Okay, can we move to the next slide, please? Now, talking about the second of our achievements in the year 2020 during the pandemic. As you know, during the lockdown, there were a lot of mothers who were in hospitals, who were at home during the lockdown, who were in need of help through the breastfeeding, through the BFF, in cooperation with the Family Health Promotion Center, the breastfeeding department in Sharjah. The BFF donated amount of 4,000 dirham that was donated to purchase accessories for the pumps that were donated through the BFF to the center itself to be given out for mothers who are needed to be supported by pumps through during the lockdown or during the pandemic, to be able to to be supported through the pandemic. Number of infected mothers that benefited from the donations were 20 mothers. This initiative was mentioned in 7 local and non-local newspaper publications. Those are pictures that present the workers and the pumps that were presented by the company. Can we go back to the previous slide? I think we missed out a few slides. Okay, this was the pumps that were given out. Okay, third, we're going to talk about the monetary support and the amount of 52,000 grant for the patients in need. It was given for 4 patients who were infants in Al-Qasimi Hospital for Women and Children who needed emergency surgery. It was mentioned in 10 Arabic publications and 1 English publication. As we said, it was for 4 emergency patients. Alhamdulillah, they benefited from this emergency surgeries that was needed. Okay, now as part of our work that is done throughout the years, but especially during the lockdown or during the pandemic, Part of our services was providing breastfeeding supplies through our office. Mothers who benefited from the breastfeeding supplies office in the year 2020 were 438 mothers, and counseling sessions that were done in the breastfeeding supplies office were 342 342 mothers. The counseling sessions on the phone were provided for the number of 741 mothers. This was through the breastfeeding supplies office, which sells and rents out high quality pumps and accessories with reasonable prices compared to the market in the UAE. Okay. Now, fifth, we're going to talk about the participation in the 8th Health Department Conference in the year 2020. It was titled The Impact of COVID-19 Pandemic on Mothers and Infants. The number of attendees who benefited from the conference were registered at 290 participants in that conference. Okay. Okay, sixth, as we all know, we always celebrate the World Breastfeeding Week and the National Breastfeeding Week. Every year, the world celebrates the World Breastfeeding Week in August based on WABA, and the UAE celebrates the National Breastfeeding Week in November based on the Ministry of Health and Prevention in UAE. Activities and awareness campaigns are done in both regions to support and promote breastfeeding and to emphasize its importance. In the World Breastfeeding Week, the number of people who attended the 3 presentations that were done were 162 beneficiaries. The National Breastfeeding Week held 4 presentations and had 120 attendees. Okay, to talk about our other type of applications, our social media publications or promotional videos. We have electronic publications. Breastfeeding guidebooks in Arabic and English were converted into digital copies to be able to reach a wider range. It was done in the year 2021. Also, we have 5 publications in nutrition and healthy foods for the pregnant and breastfeeding mother. It was released in Ramadan in the year 2021. We also have released the video based on the story My New Brother Walid. It was also done in the year 2021. A promotional video for the Breastfeeding Counselor program will be distributed and shared with the public entities and nurseries. It was done in the year 2021. Okay, the BFF collaborated with 6 BFF volunteers to release a video in the year 2020 and 2021. This was, it's called Masirat Ata, and this is a video that we gave opportunity to our dear volunteers who gave their years to talk about their experience with their BFF and their memories and how the BFF helped them evolve and how they helped the BFF and how the BFF contributed to their life and talk about their experience with that. And they created a video about it, and it was presented in the year 2020 ceremony for the graduation of the celebration of the graduation of the peer counselor program that was done last year. Okay, 6 videos were released in the year of 2021, focusing on the breastfeeding mother in Ramadan, and Happiness After Birth publication in Arabic and English, focusing on the mother's mental health, was also released in the year 2021. Okay, now the BFF provided 3,000 breastfeeding covers in the year 2021 that were distributed to mothers who rented pumps from the Breastfeeding Supplies Office, mothers in public and private hospitals, and to mothers in BFF events. Number of covers sent to hospitals were 913 covers, and the number of covers given to mothers who rented were a total of 315. Okay, now the session discussing the recommendation of the study of the breastfeeding mother in 2021. This, just to give you a brief about it, we did, there was a discussion focused on the mental and physical health, social and legislative aspects. Alternatives to breastfeeding were encouraged as per the Islamic law, where wet nurses should be promoted and supported instead of giving baby the artificial milk when the mother was or is unable to breastfeed. This was a study, and this was like a meeting discussed, and we set a recommendation. We came up with a recommendation, and we had a number of 19 participants. The participants were employees of the BFF and volunteers from the scientific committee, and speakers from various specialities. We had various from like scientific backgrounds, professors, scientific professors as well, talking about it. It was a video conference program held using the WebEx program. It was published using Arabic publications and English publications. It was talked about during Good Morning Sharjah TV program on Sharjah TV station. Okay. Okay, now we're going to present you a video about the Breastfeeding Supporters Forum. Please stay tuned and watch it together. Something's wrong with the video.
Okay, kisses. Yeah. Here's Tinker. Is Daddy sleeping?
I'm sorry, can you please close your microphone? Thank you. I'm sorry, there's something wrong with the sound. Thank you for watching the video with us. Okay. Now the video, as you can see, we have information about different contact numbers or services provided by the Breastfeeding Friends Association. We have our support line for consultations. We have sale and rental of breastfeeding supplies and accessories. And we have the number for the Breastfeeding Friends for general information. by the end of the presentation now, we're going to send you a link for a form or a survey. Please feel free to write any recommendations or any suggestions for any improvements or any suggestions that you would like to add for next year. Any experiences that you want to add during the sessions. Feel free to express yourself. If you want to talk about any experience, we would like to hear from you as well. Whether it was in English or Arabic, we'll give you the time to talk about your experience. We're here to discuss and have an open conversation. We will arrange that. Please follow our social media accounts on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and support us. Okay. Please, whoever wants to share their experience or talk or add something, just write in the chat box so we can arrange who can open the microphone and we don't have any conflict in that.
أخت نغم بس حابين نسمع مقترحاتهم إذا عندهم أفكار، حابين نطلع بأفكار جديدة، نتعاون مع بعض في شيء. فالمجال مفتوح أخواتي، إذا حابين تضيفون شيء للملتقى، شو التوصيات اللي حابين عفوا شو التوصيات، شو الشيء اللي حابين ان احنا ان شاء الله نجتمع فيه ونسويه ان شاء الله الشهور القادمة او السنة القادمة. حد حاب يضيف شيء او يعطينا ملاحظات او عشان نطلع بفكرة يعني ان شاء الله مع بعض؟ حابين نتعاون في شيء او عندكم مقترحات؟ تفضلوا اخواتي. اللي حابة تتكلم باللغة العربية او الانجليزية تتفضل.
Okay, I'll just repeat what Amal said and what I said earlier. We're open to hear about your experience, whether it was with the BFM or whether you want to talk about in general experiences with the breastfeeding or birth, and any recommendation, any suggestions that you want to add, anything that would improve with the BFF. We're ready to hear that. We're open to hear from anyone. And how was your experience with the peer counselor program as well? If you just had because I can see some of the names that just graduated recently from the program, I believe. الظاهر ما حد عنده شيء.
أخت نسرين حابة تقولين شيء؟
مهندسة
أو أخواتي المتطوعات في الجمعية، تفضلوا.
شكرا
فوزية
نغم وشكرا لك أمل. طبعا احنا نترك المجال اليوم للي مشاركين ويانا وحاضرين، كل واحد يقدم خبراته وتبادل الآراء يعني في هالموضوع. فاللي حاب يتكلم أو إنه يكتب في الشات، يعني إذا ما بيتكلم ممكن يكتب في الشات وممكن نناقشه يعني.
فوزية تقول ممكن أشارك. هي فوزية تفتحين الميكروفون إذا سمحتي وتتكلمين.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام. هلا عزيزتي.
نعم، مرحبا بكم جميعا إن شاء الله.
هلا.
أنا خلال البارحة كان عندي زيارة يعني خاصة يعني مع دكتورة باطنية في مستشفى القاسمي. سألتني إذا أشتغل ما أشتغل، فقلت لها أنا متطوعة في جمعية أصدقاء الرضاعة الطبيعية. الدكتورة قالت أنتم من متى موجودين، أو يعني أول مرة تسمع شيء عن أن في دعم للرضاعة الطبيعية هنا عندنا في الشارجة أو في الإمارات حتى؟ أنا واستغربت أكثر أن كل هالسنوات نحن نزور مستشفى القاسمي سابقا القديم، بعدين الحين مستشفى القاسمي للنساء والولادة. معقولة في حد من الموظفين أو الدكاترة في المستشفى مو سامعين عنه أو مو سامعين أن هناك في دعم للرضاعة الطبيعية؟ ففكرت في الموضوع، ما أدري هل خلل منا نحن ما قادرين نوصل له، ولا الخلل من إداراتهم إن هم ما يعرفونهم إن في هالخدمات موجودة. هي الدكتورة كانت والدة من 7 شهور وعندها بعض الصعوبات. فبرايكم يعني شو الخلل؟ هل من نحن مو قادرين نغطي إعلاميا؟
فوزية جت على
ولا
شيء
من
كنت أقول عنه بعد، موضوع التغطية الإعلامية. أحس إحنا كجمعية عندنا أفكار، عندنا متطوعات، عندنا إبداع، عندنا ناس، بس يبغالنا structure بطريقة أو تفكير بطريقة يعني more initiative، يكون فيها شيء جديد أكثر، أو فوكس بطريقة ثانية. يعني أحس توجهنا شوي يكون يعني creative أكثر عشان نطلع بطريقة ثانية.
نعم صح، يعني هو كل سنة يحتاج إن
يعني أنا
نغير
أحس
طريقة
إن نشتغل في تعب، في جهد، في كذا، ونوصل، بس ما بنوصل للفئة كاملة. طبعا الجهد إحنا نغطي فئة كبيرة، بس ما راح نوصل لكل الفئات أكيد. ما راح نقدر نغطي كل الإمارات، لأن أصلا التعداد السكاني كبير. وبعدين يعني إحنا نتكلم أصلا، إحنا يعني إذا بتسمح لي المهندسة أتكلم كجمعية أصدقاء. إحنا جمعية غير ربحية، جمعية تطوعية، بس اللي المفروض أصلا يقوم بالتوعية على الأمور هاي. في عندك الأمومة والطفولة، وفي تابعة أصلا لوزارة الصحة، وفي جهات أعلى منا هي المفروض تقوم بهاي الأمور. فإحنا بالآخر مؤسسة غير ربحية، ده دورنا دور مجتمعي وليس دور عملي أو دور كذا. بس إحنا كدور جمعية دور مجتمعي يعني. بس إذا إحنا بدنا نوصل كصوت، بحس لازم شوي يكون كرياتيف أكثر، ونستغل السوشيال ميديا بطريقة أخرى. هذا كرأيي نغم يعني. بس
أنا اللي مستغربة الموضوع، لو كان يعني عام يعني في جهة حكومية ثانية أو غير عاملة أو شيء، يعني ممكن، بس إن هي طبيبة في مستشفى القاسمي، هذا اللي كان مستغربة من الموضوع أكثر. نحن نحتاج دعم الجهات، مستشفياتنا خصوصا المستشفيات الصديقة للطفل تتعاون معنا، يعني على الأقل موظفينها وكادرها الطبي يكونون على علم بهالخدمات اللي نحن نقدمها، هم يكونون يعني في نفس الخط بعد. يعني أتوقع اعتماد صديق للطفل أوسع من هالمعايير اللي تفرضها يعني المنظمات الصحية ووزارة الصحة.
صحيح. هو
على الأقل
مستشفى
شيء بسيط إن كل الموظفين عندها داركين إن فيها الخدمات موجودة ولوين يتوجهون في حال وجود الأم واجهتها أي صعوبة.
شكرا لك أخت فوزية. صراحة كلامك صحيح 100%. احنا يعني كجمعية تطوعية مثل ما تفضلت الأخت نغم، يعني احنا كثر ما نقدر نوصل للمستشفيات. في المقابل انا شفت بعد تعليق الاخت داليا، فعلا في المقابل المستشفيات او المراكز الصحيه او الجهات اللي هي صديقه للطفل دورها بعد تعرف بالجمعيه، مش بس انه يعني هي يعني من فتره قريبه الحمد لله نبارك لهم حصلوا على صديق للطفل تجديد. فالدور مش بس في فتره الولاده في المستشفى والمراجعه، دورهم بعد يعرفون بالجمعيات اللي خارج المستشفى، لان الام بعد ما تطلع من المستشفى تحتاج لدعم كبير. اكيد ما بتقدر توصل للمستشفى كل مره، ففي جهات اخرى المفروض يبلغون الامهات ان في مستشفى، في جهه رسميه موجوده تدعم الامهات بشتى الطرق يعني. فيمكن احنا الحين الاخوذيه نركز اكثر ان احنا ممكن نعرف بنفسنا على المستشفيات من خلال ان احنا ممكن نروح نعطيهم المحاضرات الستاف اللي موجود، يعني نسوي محاضرات لهم نركز عليهم يعني. وصح ممكن يكون بعد موظفات جدد، دكاتره جدد ما عندهم فكره عن السابق اللي احنا كنا نقوم به يعني. فان شاء الله يعني بنطلع بتوصيه بهالسؤال اللي او الطرح اللي طرحتيه. شكرا لك. اخت نغم ممكن الترجمين؟
صحيح. Okay, now I want to translate. Sister Fawzia had a question that she was in Al-Qasmi Hospital with an internal medicine doctor, and the doctor was shocked that she's a volunteer in the BFF. She had no idea that there are support groups or that there is an association to support breastfeeding mothers in Sharjah. So she's shocked that all this work and a doctor or a physician who's working in a breastfeeding friendly hospital who doesn't know about BFF. So we're discussing that it could be she's a new doctor, or maybe because we need to work on our approach towards maybe going towards hospitals, telling them about the staff about us, because maybe there are new staff who joined, introducing ourselves again, telling them what we do, because not all mothers will have access to hospitals and staff after they leave the hospital. And I was just saying that since the BFF is a non-profit organization and our work is community work, because there are other organizations that support the mothers in breastfeeding, like the mothers, what do you call it, the Ministry of Health, and what comes as sectors under that control the public health sector, you know, the healthcare system. Those are supported by the mothers, so they're not going to introduce usually that there is a support system or that. So our role is to work on ourselves, how to promote for ourselves, and maybe we just need to explore our way of introducing ourselves, maybe through a different pathway through social media, find new ways to explore or guide people to us. This is what we were talking about in general. So if we would like to hear from you, if you have ideas about it, how would you think that we can introduce people to the BFF? Okay, Amal says we need to take a group photo at the end of the forum. If you would all say yes, please to that.
إن شاء الله بناخذ الصورة آخر الملتقى بعد ما نخلص، بس الحين الأخت زبير الكاتبة، بس لو معليش أمر تشوفيها.
Okay, Isabel, okay, I'm going to read it. Although we are present in social media, unfortunately, many doctors and healthcare facilities don't know breastfeeding friends and the work we do. This is my concern. Actually, you want to suggest? Okay, Isabel, if you can please open the microphone. If you can talk, I can translate it in Arabic after you're done.
Yes, of course. Now, mashallah, we have biggest presence in social media, but I have a feeling that in many healthcare facilities, the doctors or nurses, they don't even know breastfeeding friends. Many years ago, I'm talking about maybe 10 years ago, we had volunteers doing work in many hospitals, private and public. The nurses and the staff at that time, they were aware of our work. But now, maybe because of COVID, for the last 2 years and more, we haven't had really people, you know, going everywhere. So unfortunately, many doctors don't know about us, and it's very sad. I think we need to do more field work because social media is good, but many people don't really follow social media. You know, they don't have the time for that.
Yeah, I think we need to work, like we need to use the social media to talk about what we did, not to talk about content or information, because content about breastfeeding or information is better said to mothers directly rather than just said through social media. Like my experience, when you talk to mother face to face and teach her about breastfeeding, it's better than talking to her virtually about breastfeeding.
I agree.
I think it's what I'm اللي أقوله بالإنجليش it's understood to everyone in Arabic صح؟ اللي يتكلمون بالإنجليزي وعربي it's all understood صح؟
Can I add something, please? Can I comment?
نسرين تفضلي.
شكرا. I will have to say it in English. Everyone knows English, صح? So we'll not have to spend time on translation, صح? Everyone knows
Better
English.
to speak in English.
Okay, now for the Fawzia comment, it's not a matter of we're not doing our efforts, Fawzia. يعني نحن we've done much of support all these years. We used all the social media. We were managing them as at the level at what we do as volunteers. Because if you're in a paid organization, then you will have a full team doing things in faster than we do. But what we did as volunteers is really appreciated. I will not accept anyone saying that we're not showing in the community. Unfortunately, we are shown in the community, but there's two factors. Since I worked in hospitals, I know the reality. And if Selma was around, she will also advise the same comment that I will say. And Mohandisa Khawza was suggesting again is training nurses. I will not be on training nurses, unfortunately. Baby-friendly hospitals have 20-hour courses to train nurses. And I think Isabel, Yasmin, Badria, everyone remembered, and Dima and Dalia. When I worked in Zuleika, BFF was so active involved in Zuleika, which means it's me as a role as a lactation consultant. I'm a lactation consultant. I have the right to introduce all the community support awareness groups, not only BFF, but BFF is our priority since it's the first. So it is the lactation consultant responsibilities in each organization. Selma did recognize BFF in Latifa Hospital. Before I left Dubai Hospital, I recognized BFF in Dubai Hospital. Then the same thing in Zuleika. So my thinking here is not to waste our time training nurses. By the end, they are medical staff. They have all the resources on the internet to search and learn. 20-hour courses, lactation, child birth educators, so many nice topics, free or paid. They are the ones to train themselves based on the baby-friendly requirements. They are up-to-date competencies. There will be also fight in case if she doesn't have to meet the expectation of the competency. So baby-friendly hospitals is the problem is tackle the lactation team, the baby-friendly team. You can directly expose the worries of Fawzia. If Fawzia could meet Muna or what's her name, other lady, I think she's another wonderful lady. I cannot remember her name. She's also Jordanian. Okay, and they're so active. But if simple information was missing, we have to go to the baby-friendly leaders in each hospital. They're the ones taking care of what's going on and missing there. So we are doing a lot in social media, a lot, mass media, a lot, in both languages, a lot. I don't want to spend time training hospitals where they have to train themselves. Well, why they are baby-friendly? Yani I think, thank you, Yasmin, for nodding. I think you understand me. And I believe Yasmin understood, and Isabel, how much...
I totally agree with Nasreen as well.
So,
yes, you
it's
have to target the
baby-friendly
health.
leaders in hospital and lactations. يعني lactations بتصيدوا كل lactation هناك سواء كان baby friendly ولا non baby friendly. ما رح نضيع وقت نعلم ممرضات مجبرين ياخذوا 24 hours 20 hours ومجبرين يوقعوا ورق انه هن فاهمين ومجبرين كل 6 شهور يعددوا على التدريب. انا بضيع وقتي مع مؤسسات هي المفروض بيبي فريندلي بتتحمل مسؤوليه الاخطاء. احنا بنراسلهم وبنقول لهم عندكم جاب. النقطة الثانية حكيتها سوري على انفعالي لأن أنا ما بحس إنه الجمعية قصرت، الجمعية ما مقصرة، نحن تطوع بكيف إنه إحنا من وقت إنه نستقطع كل تطوعنا وبالآخر نقول إحنا مقصرين، إحنا ما مقصرين، إحنا ما مقصرين، إحنا مثل ما قالت نغم ما رح نكفي شريحة الإمارات كلها بس وصلنا لمصر، وصلنا للبنان، وصلنا للبحرين، وصلنا لعمان، إحنا ما مقصرين، بس إحنا ما عندنا هالكثافة والتيم ورك الكافي. فبليز ركزوا على الشغلات اللي بدنا اياها، ما تضيعوا وقت بتدريب مستشفيات صديقه للطفل، معمم انها تكون مستشفى صديقه للطفل، احكوا مع ادارات البيبي فريندلي مع اللاكتيشن، والدليل كان واضح، سلمى نقلت البيبي فريندلي على لطيفه، انا نقلته على دبي وزليخه. هذا تعليقي، ما في اي تقصير، واي واحد ما بيعرف فينا السوشيال ميديا الكل على السوشيال ميديا. هذا آخر
صح.
كلامي، ما حدا يقول لي روحي اعملي بيبي فريندلي.
If I can just add to the point that has been raised by both Nisreen and Isabel. Now, I agree with both of you. We definitely need more field work, but unfortunately, this is not feasible at the moment because of so many reasons. And the very first and biggest reason for that is that the breastfeeding field is not recognized as a healthcare field in UAE yet. So we will not be given enough credibility, let's say, inside the healthcare system. So hopefully now the next step after BFF has been recognized as a mother support group here in UAE, hopefully, inshallah, in the near future, we will gain more field access and we can send actually breastfeeding counselors to different hospitals in UAE, and they can spread the word and raise the awareness all over UAE. So yes, this is the point with Isabel. The other point is I totally and 100% agree with Nisreen. It's not our job to educate the nurses inside the hospital. It would be cost effective, let's say, let's put it in this frame. It will be more cost effective and a better way to, for example, invite whoever in charge of the breastfeeding inside the hospital, invite them to attend our peer counselor course, even if it was free of charge. So just send the invitation for those, the head of departments, the in-charge nurse, the lactation consultant, whoever in charge of breastfeeding within a certain hospital or a healthcare facility, we can send them an invitation to attend our peer counselor course. In this way, we are giving them the knowledge, the basic needed knowledge to support breastfeeding. Plus, we are giving them like an advertisement about BFF and what we are doing. So yes, we need to target the heads and not just the nurses in the hospital. The last thing I would comment on, although social media is a powerful tool to use to spread the knowledge, unfortunately, if we are targeting new mothers especially, believe me, they don't have enough time to check their Facebook page or to check their Instagram. So they will definitely not know what we are doing or that the support is there. Believe me, I am one of those mothers who never heard about BFF 10 years ago, except by seeing a BFF volunteer and talking to a BFF volunteer in the field and knowing that there is actually someone who can help me with my problems. Although I have been living in Sharjah for more than like 20 years, I have never heard about BFF except when I actually went to the hospital and saw one of the peer counselors there who taught me how to deal with my baby. So I think the case will still be there. New mothers will not have the time or basically the stamina to check their social media accounts to know that the help is there. So yes, it's our work to go there and to educate them and to support them and to raise the awareness. So it's a dual. It's our work as peer counselors, plus the work of whoever in charge of breastfeeding inside a certain healthcare facility to attend breastfeeding activities by our own invitation, even if it will come on the cost of financial means for BFF. I know that it means that we will lose the cost or the fees for attendance, but I think for the better cause, for the bigger picture, it's totally worth it if we can send invitations to some healthcare facilities, whether it was a clinic or a hospital or even baby-friendly hospitals. If we can send invitations to the lactation consultant there, the nursing in charge, or whoever in charge of breastfeeding to attend the course, then we will tell them about our activities. They will know that there is a BFF existing, and again, we will be updating their knowledge regarding breastfeeding and raising their competency standards.
شكرا مريم. But I will not agree for inviting BFF, breastfeeding baby-friendly hospitals to pay counseling courses. We will only invite the nurses like we did before. We're still doing it. Their nurses, they will be interested to join our course if they didn't get to catch the 20-hour course. They're baby friend. I was a baby friendly leader. Selma is a baby friendly leader. We know what's going on in hospitals. We don't want to waste hospital time with hospitals are baby friendly. They have the knowledge and people and resources. We need to spend it, as Mariam said, on small clinics, new small clinics, new small hospitals. They don't know anything about baby friendly. بس نضيع وقت مع baby friendly, they know. Another thing, I doubt, or I don't even believe any baby-friendly hospitals in UAE who doesn't know about breastfeeding friends. يعني there's no way. يعني even إحنا قبل ما يعملوا baby friendly, we were there. So even after baby friendly, they know breastfeeding friends in Sharjah. Don't tell me. And even the baby friendly lecture I did with Amal last year, which is baby friendly hospital initiative lecture. So many so they know baby friendly about a BFF. So don't waste time on baby friendly hospitals, but keep an open communication with lactation nurses and lactation team. Part of the 10 steps, step number 10, they should have connections with us or others. So you need to tell them, based on baby-friendly hospital, step number 10, which is you should collaborate with breastfeeding support group, such as Breastfeeding Friends or others, okay? You use that 10 step, go to them, email them, communicate to them so they can have the right to get the benefits of collaborating with us. So if they don't have time to do the lactation support or follow up mothers, we are there. But there's no baby friendly who doesn't know about BFF in Sharjah. Okay, I know that, because I'm doing counseling, I'm connected to so many people. Yani, you know that, Isabel, how many we did in that support group? We get set numbers, we share numbers, so they know about us. So there's no way that there's no baby friendly doesn't know about BFF. Now we need to target the population and the small.
Is it possible I can mention something?
Yes,
Assalamu
please.
alaikum. Yes, assalamu alaikum, everyone. You know, it's really great ideas what you are mentioning, and my mind is going back to the mothers all the time. And when you're talking about focusing on the small clinics and that, when I was living there in the UAE, most of the clinics, they have the TV screen giving education to the mothers or to whoever's attending the clinic. Is it possible that all the videos that we have collected with BFF to be offered to these clinics, to show them to the people waiting? You know, this is education, and putting our name up on these TV screens so that people will see who we are, that yes, there is support in the community. You know, that is a very easy way of advertising BFF. Even if, you know, the doctors, they don't know that there is such a thing, they will quickly come to know through these not social media, but, you know, the media that the
Virtual media.
many of the clinics they have. You know, and even the mothers meetings that and all the meetings that you're holding online, even like in Al Qasimi Hospital, invite the mothers to attend a small gathering within the hospital, that, okay, yes, there is a mothers meeting. Let them see that this is who they are. This is, you know, the real people behind. It's not just a name or a card that you will give out. They will see it in the book or something. No, this is real people, you know.
This is what I'm talking about. When I said we just need strategies. I'm not talking about the work we're not doing. We're doing great work. We're doing great efforts. We're graduating people who are actually, you know, we're as people who have extracted years and experience. I'm talking about people who have actually worked in the medical profession and gave effort to working with mothers as peer like medical professionals, working with mothers, and then going to train peer counselors, giving them information to go to support mothers. And then, you know, we've given hours of our daily life to support the community. Now, what we're talking about here, to focus this effort to the right direction. Since we are giving effort, just focus it to the right direction, so it's not just scattered everywhere. Okay, we just need to have focal points instead of just spreading, oh, we're just doing this and this and this. Just to have, you know, a structured plan of a year. By the end of this year, let's just come out by December with a plan every year. I know we're doing such things every year, that we have a plan for each month that we're going to do this and this and this. But let's go with something more structured, that by the end of this year, we want to come out with something different. We had a meeting by the end of last year, by December. Yes, we came out with things that we achieved like every year, but what difference did we actually make for the BFF? Yes, we did make difference for mothers. Yes, we made difference for the graduating volunteers that we had. Yes, but did we actually make a difference that we anticipated? We worked so hard this past year. I think we deserve more. The BFF deserves more. So we can achieve more. So if we can actually focus our efforts in the right way, if we can have like actually one meeting per month to agree on, like this day per month, we'll have like some meeting like this. We can actually sit 1, 2, 3. We'll do this to work on our social media. To be honest, on social media, we have a lot of lactation specific education people who are taking the information that we gained by working so hard with mothers. Okay, no one knows about the times that we went during lockdown to the mothers' houses without taking any money from them. I'm going to talk about it for the first time. Okay, I never talk about this. I've went during lockdown to mothers' houses without taking any money from them, just supporting mothers, okay? And then I give this information to other people, and they're going and spreading the information that they gained from me, and they're talking about the information, the knowledge I've gained through experience myself, and they talk about it that they gained it. Are they lactation consultants? No. Are they even lactation specialists? No. They just took the lactation specific education program that Dubai allowed for it, the DHCC allowed for it. This is another regulation that we should work on it as healthcare providers. I'm a clinical dietitian, an IBCLC, but I cannot practice as an IBCLC in hospitals because I don't have a certification. This is not fair. Why? This is also not fair. I have the facilities, I have everything, I have the practice, but I cannot provide. Also, the BFF should work for me as a healthcare provider since I'm giving my hours, my life, my expertise to the BFF should support me in this as well. This is one of the things I request. I'm sure that as a healthcare providers, you as well, you would request something like that. Since I'm giving my knowledge to the BFF, I would request something like that. So we should get focused. My request, once a month, we would request a meeting. Get focused. Focal points. We would work on social media. Mothers meeting. Now the COVID, خلاص في expo. يعني restrictions bye في number of attendees بالpublic. Let's do mothers meeting. يكون في groups. Let's do it per Emirates. يكون في حضور في public. Let's do mothers meeting. Go to the public. Talk to the mothers. Let them gain confidence about breastfeeding. breast milk اللي هم الفورميلا companies are not يعني ما بيرحموا. They're not giving break for the mothers. They're just going so hard on mothers. مو بس الفورميلا ميلك، البوتل feeding companies, they're going so hard on campaigns on social media. They're attacking mothers so hard, they're not giving us a break. Okay, so no, we have to be stronger, we have to be harder, we have to work harder and not to lose all the time and the effort that we worked so hard for it. But this is everything that I have to work hard. Sorry to get so emotional, but it's gotten all the years that I've worked hard for it. Is anyone doing anything to get IBCLC recognized? Yasmin Rose, I can answer you that after the forum, if it's about IBCLC, about the pathway. I can help you with that in private as well.
Well, it's not about becoming an IBCLC. It's, you know, as you mentioned earlier, and I know I've talked to Nisreen at length about it as well, that you can't do dual things. You have to be hired just as a lactation consultant. So people who are a lactation consultant and some other type of health professional aren't able to practice. Is something being done to get that recognized so that you're able to offer services?
So if you're a nurse, for example, and you're an IBCLC, Since hospitals don't want to pay a salary for an IBCLC on her own, they want to hire a nurse who can work as an IBCLC in the maternity ward. So they're just going to pay a salary for one person. So they're going to prefer a nurse who can work as a lactation consultant as well. So they're not going to hire a dietitian who's an IBCLC because she's not going to fill both job descriptions. Got me?
Yeah, but are you also then allowed to work as an IBCLC if you're a dietitian?
I am. By law, I can, but in private practice. Not in in private clinics, not in as it's gonna be as a privilege under the license, as a privilege, not as a license. So I get my license in DHA as a clinical dietitian, but under my license, it's registered as a privilege to have a certification of IBCLC.
Okay, and then is it still the same that you have to be a medical professional of some sort to get the IBCLC and practice in DHA?
According to the pathway that you've chose, and as IBCLC, that's a different thing. Like if you have a medical background.
No, if you don't have a medical background. My understanding was you can't work in a clinic if you don't have a medical background because there's no license for IBCLC.
No, you can't. You can't.
Right. So is anybody doing anything for that? Maybe that's something breastfeeding.
Here you cannot. Here in the UAE, you cannot.
Actually, we've been trying 3 years ago to get BFF recognized as a mother support group by the IBCLE. And we already submitted the form to them. But I don't know what happened. Maybe because they changed their board of directors or something. Our application just got omitted or missed out or something. And to be honest, I got busy and I never followed up on that. So hopefully maybe we can retackle this issue. Maybe if we get BFF recognized internationally as a mother support group, maybe then we can change something here locally. Hopefully in the near future, inshallah. But not right now. I'm so busy right now. Or if someone else is willing to volunteer and take this role out of my hand, I'm more than happy to provide them with the needed information, the BFF rules and regulations, and how to go through the application itself again, and so on.
Maryam, I'm not good with regulations. You can take that step away from me. Okay, wait. I have to read what's in the chat box because there is a lot of. Aisha says, I think the first step towards this move is that we get. Okay, what happened? We get in touch with all IBCLC lactation consultants working in hospital and also get in touch with clinics to introduce BFF to them. Okay, this is in placement and working mother meeting regularly. We discussed that. Okay, Dalia talks about talking about معظم جهات الحصول على صديق للطفل تكون نشيطة تطلب الدعم من قبلنا خلال فترة التقييم. في شغلة هون ما تنسوا إنه في جهات أخرى مسؤولة عن البي اف اف، عن المستشفيات، عن اللي هي الريجوليشنز والأمور اللي هي شو يسموها اللي هي وزارة الصحة والأمومة والطفولة. ممكن نسرين فاهمة عن الأمور هاي أكثر. كاستراتيجيات والامور هاي في مظلات في هيكله. There are regulations and higher levels that are beyond that are taking care of this part, which is breastfeeding and the regulations and all those baby friendly hospital initiatives. Those are the health public health and the mothers. Can you translate it, Nasreen? The mothers and baby friendly and those kind of things that Ministry of Health is responsible for that. So those things that you were discussing, it's not our business. We're responsible for community support, community awareness, supporting the community, just community work. We're not going to go through supporting hospitals. We're not there for staff support. Okay, we already talked. Okay, I think it's just communicating. Okay, anyone else wants to talk about it? More
in the chat was about not a lot of moms who call at least for the English helpline, they're asking for where they can go for visits. So if we have like a regular schedule, I think, I mean, I know we won't have a clinic, but if we have a regular schedule for where we are having mothers meetings that they can come and attend, I feel like a lot of moms would just prefer that because they want to see someone and then they have to schedule a lactation visit. And a lot of times it's not covered by insurance and it just gets pricey and expensive and things. So If there was a regular schedule that we had
For the
every
mothers meeting, you
was
mean?
clear for where they can
Okay.
come for the regular like a
Okay. I think I would like to talk for myself about this, about the meetings. There's something that people should understand from my perspective as a lactation consultant, and please just respect my own personal view about it. There are things that we can help as supporters of breastfeeding, that we can give knowledge. But there are interventions when it comes to breastfeeding support that needs the intervention of a lactation consultant. That can be only done with a home visit or a clinic visit. Now, whether this is to be done through the support system of the BFF as a volunteer, this is up to the volunteer if she wants to do it as a voluntary system. That's charged. This is done through the system of the BFF. That's her responsibility. This is done through her. This is her acceptance. But there is also lactation consultants who take charge for that, and that's her work. That's her way of living. This is something this is a way of living. This is what we do for a living, and this is our right as well. So we cannot expect, like, mothers cannot just expect everything for free. Please, we need mothers to understand that, yes, it is expensive, but even me as a mother, when I went to such a doctor or a lactation consultant, I did pay for a consultation. I did pay for the lactation consultant that amount. When they go to the primary healthcare center, the family prevention center, they do pay for the service, even if the amount, I'm just going to mention the numbers because it is provided by the Ministry of Health. If you want to see the doctor, you pay 400 dirhams if you're not covered by insurance. If you want to see the nurse, you pay 200 dirhams. Then if I am a lactation consultant, which is an IBCLC like the doctor, why am I not allowed to consult you with the 400 dirhams or 200 dirhams as a charge?
Okay, I understand 100% what you're saying, and I'm not arguing that at all. There's a lot of people calling the helpline saying they want to go to a clinic, or they want some more support, and it's gonna be things like always on the line. It's just things like almost all the time it's a bad latch, for example, or not understanding how latches work, and like that the nipple needs to be far back in the mouth, just simple things. But there's a level of comfort of, as somebody said earlier, of having that face-to-face. So if we have regular
classes,
mornings that they can come, or afternoons or whatever, if they have a regular spot that they can come, and if they're having extra questions that the helpline they're not feeling confident with, they can come. Just if we're scheduling something regularly, like even if it's monthly or weekly would be, but even if it's monthly, if we're kind of arranging a schedule so that we're volunteering, like somebody's there on this morning for 2 hours, they can come by. Like it's just another way for giving moms the confidence, not for any issues that they would need to.
Perfect. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. I get you, Yasmin. I get you. Those issues are fine with giving to the mothers. Actually, I don't know, when I give the mothers meeting, I do use the doll and I use the dummy for the breast, and I present with my mouth. It looks funny, and I tell them we use it like a sandwich. Pretend like you're eating a sandwich, and this is how you latch the baby. And then I ask the mothers to do the demonstration on their own and like that. And that's why I say it's always better to allow the mothers to be face to face and have the baby on your own. That's why we need a support groups face to face with a place that is closed, not open to the public, so they can actually have that place. So if the BFF can provide us with such a place where they can have the privacy, okay, like a play group for kids where they can have the privacy, okay, if we can have a sponsorship for such a place once a month, or maybe once every week, and we have volunteers, maybe sometimes in the afternoon and sometimes in the morning, depending on sessions, because some volunteers work in the morning, some volunteers.
Am I missing something, or by the way, BFF used to do that with every mother's meeting before the COVID era. Am I missing something, or I lost track on things?
I was going to say it, Mariam.
Right?
I was going to say it, Mariam. Before COVID, the COVID era that changed the world, unfortunately, we used to have monthly meetings at the ladies' club. They were really generous. They used to give us rooms, and we used to have mothers' meetings. For years, we've had them there. And then we had also some baby, like yoga, mom and baby yoga sessions in a coffee shop. We had also meetings in coffee shops. That was all before COVID. And there was also some meetings in Zuleika Hospital when Nisreen was there, in Al-Qasimi Hospital, and sometimes in some coffee shops in Dubai. One volunteer would attend. It was organized maybe by other groups, you know, other people who are also working towards, you know, breastfeeding, promoting breastfeeding. So we used to have that. Now, since COVID, it's like everything has changed. And of course, people didn't want to go to hospitals or meetings or gatherings. Hopefully now we will start again.
Yeah, to address your concern, Yasmin, hopefully, yes, our such activities will resume.
Yeah, hopefully. And we had also meetings in parks, you know, we used to have them in open air areas. Like, for example, I remember in Majaz and in Safia Park, we used to go with, I mean, it was a bunch of friends, but many of us were volunteers with EFF. So we would go to a park and then we would advertise, you know, that we were in a park on a Thursday evening or afternoon, and people could come and talk to us. We did that for a short while because it was a bit messy, you know, there's always like kids and people, it's a bit loud and noisy, so it was not easy to talk to mothers. But we did many things. Also for the lactation consultation being expensive and sometimes not being covered, I mean, not being covered by insurance, what you can advise mothers is to go see a doctor, a family doctor who is also a lactation consultant. Like, for example, Dr. Delphine. She works in a clinic, and mothers can go see her for lactation issues, and it will be paid by the insurance. It will be covered. So this is an option, you know.
No, but she's a physician. That's something different. They cover the they cover the consultation.
They cover
exactly. She's a family medicine doctor.
Yes, exactly. But mothers, I mean, they get an appointment with her as a general practitioner, family practitioner, and then they see her for lactation. And I'm sure there's other doctors in the UAE who do the same.
Anyway,
or clinics, yeah.
We hope so. Anyway, we just want to support all mothers with breastfeeding. Muhandisa Khawla would just wants us to focus on the new ideas and suggestions, please, for the BFF. Let's conclude that to close the forum for today. If we can, Nasreen, please.
I just want to conclude the majority of what we discussed. توصيات or recommendations. Please, BFF admin, contact directly the baby-friendly leader, a consultant, lactation consultant in each hospital, and then keep a regular observation or any meetings you want to do. Now, I believe this meeting should be tackling all the supporters in the UAE, childbirth educators, doulas, and breastfeeding supporters. But unfortunately, it's still within our BFF group with minor, new peer counselors. So توصيات الأولى متابعة إدارة جمعية أصدقاء الرضاعة الطبيعية لكل مستشفى صديق للطفل من الشخص المعني اللي هو مسؤول عن مشروع صديق للطفل بيبي فريندلي أو استشارية الرضاعة، أوكي، ويتم التعريف عن أهداف الجمعية ومتابعتها والمطالبة، لأنه خطة البيبي فريندلي ما بينجحوا بالبيبي فريندلي ليطبقوا الخطوة العاشرة. الخطوة العاشرة إنه يفعلوا دور الجمعية أو غيرها، مثلا إذا عندهم مثلا سبورت جروبس خاص فيهم، تمام؟ فالمفروض تتواصلوا مع مستشفى صديق للطفل استشاري الرضاعة وتكملوا. والهدف الثاني متابعة المستشفيات الصغيرة اللي هي العيادات الصغيرة، مثل دكتورة سبا، دكتورة سناء حبيب، أنا بعرف الشارع أو ما بعرف دبي. العيادات الصغيرة هدول ممكن نعمل لهم حضور لدورة المرشدات إذا حابين، سواء كان أطباء أو ممرضين. ركزوا على العيادات الصغيرة لأنه البيبي فريندلي هوسبيتالز عندهم الاستراتيجية. في أي تعليق مهندسة خولة؟
شكرا. أنا طبعا تركت المجال لكم، كل حد يقول اللي عنده لأنه بيفيدنا بعدين في التوصيات. الحمد لله ما شاء الله تناقشتوا وطلعنا بأفكار جديدة، ومثل ما تفضلتوا أكيد إحنا بنركز الحين لأن بعد ما أشهرنا من وزارة تنمية المجتمع، فمضطرين إحنا نطلع خارج إمارة الشارجة، فأكيد بيكون العدد أكبر، فبيكون في تعريف للجمعية أكثر في الإمارات الأخرى والتركيز عليهم بعد غير الشارجة. فبنسوي خطة معينة كيف التعريف بالجمعية في كل الإمارات، وإن شاء الله يعني من الأفكار والمقترحات اللي بتوصلنا من خلال الشات أو من التقييم نقدر إحنا نطبقها بعدين. وشكرا لكم. أنا مضطرة أطلع لأن عندي اجتماع 12:30، فأعتقد أن تقريبا اللي عنده أي شيء إضافي ممكن يحطه في التقييم وننهي الملتقى. شكرا لكم جميعا. أخت نغم.
الأخت نغم تعليق أخير مهندسة سألتني عليه الأخت نغم، المسؤولين عن إمارة الشارقة مستشفيات صديقة للطفل اللي هو حملة الشارقة، يعني أي شيء مراسلات عن طريق حملة الشارقة. خارج الشارقة مثل ما قالت نغم فيهم مسؤولين داعمي المستشفيات الصديقة للطفل، أعتقد تترأسوا الحين دكتورة لطيفة، فتتراسلوا مباشرة مع دكتورة لطيفة عن طريق وزارة الصحة حتى تعرفوا كيف دخولكم على باقي المستشفيات الوزارية، مع أنه مثل ما أنا أكدت وشددت كل مستشفى حكومي في دولة الإمارات بيعرفنا، ما في أي شيء.
بس تعليق أخت نسرين، احنا كجمعية من حقنا ندخل كل المستشفيات يعني بالتعاون مع إدارة المستشفيات بدون الوصول لأي حد، لأن احنا إذا بنجلس نراسل من اليوم لين باكر ممكن تتأخر المواضيع. فاحنا كجمعية مشهرة وتحت مظلة المجلس الأعلى دايركت نتواصل ويا المستشفيات والمراكز الصحية، بس ما يمنع احنا يكون بالشراكة مع حد أو نتكلم مع حد يدعمنا يعني، لكن احنا خلاص احنا بنشتغل مع المستشفيات والمراكز على مستوى الامارات كلها.
مباشرة، عشان هيك انا قلت استشاري الرضاعة تمسكوهم واحدة واحدة.
اي نعم.
واحدة واحدة تمسكوها، غير المستشفيات غير صديقة للطفل تعلموهم، يعني
نعم
ركزوا على الاستشارية هم يكملوا معنا، والتدريب والمتابعات الجديدة على العيادات الجديدة، هاي أبسط شيء. أما نضيع وقت في تدريب مستشفيات صديقة للطفل أعتقد استنزاف للطاقة.
أخت نغم بس تنهين الاجتماع إن شاء الله وكل حد يحط ملاحظاته.
إن شاء الله. أوكي. لو سمحتوا إذا بس الكل بينهي الاستبيان، أخت أمل إذا بترسلي رابط الاستبيان مرة ثانية في الشات عشان اللي صار فيه كلام كثير. ملاحظاتكم لو سمحتوا في الاستبيان ممكن تحطوها للتأكيد عليها. Please, if you would just fill up the survey and add whatever recommendations and suggestions in the survey, we would really appreciate it. There will be, in the evaluation, there will be attendance certificates for all the attendees. We thank you so much for attending the forum today. We appreciate it. We will, if you would open the cameras, we would love to take a picture for the attendees. Say, smile and say cheese. Until we meet in person, if it's possible.
في حد بيفتح بعد كاميرا أساس ناخذ الصورة. زين. بس بعد من 1 2 3 وببدأ ألقط
Okay, if you please open the cameras and we'll count to 3 and then take the picture. يلا, open the cameras. 1, 2, 3.
أوكي شكرا.
Thank you.
نشوفكم على خير إن شاء الله، وأتمنى أنكم تقدمون جميع مقترحاتكم وأفكاركم في الاستبيان.
إن شاء الله. Amal, if it's possible to send the link also on the group on WhatsApp, just in case.
Yes, of course. Okay, إن شاء الله.
For the evaluation.
إن شاء الله.
Thank you so much for attending.